An oldie but a goodie today. We're doing the Sony a350. This camera is old. It's like 9 years old, but how far has technology come in the last 9 years? There's been a lot of little changes, but this camera will still hold up. It still takes great images. So it has a 14 megapixel sensor, this crop sensor camera. Where you will see a difference is, of course, ISO performance, low light performance. That is what's really improved in these DSLRs in the past few years. That and in your burst rate, how many pictures it could take in a second. So this only goes, it's like 2 or 3 frames per second as far as shooting. If you're doing like action sports, it's not that good. And the ISO only goes up to 3200, so that means it's not too good in low light as well. But it still takes very solid images outside and daylight, where you just got to make sure you got a little light going on, and you'll be fine with this camera. AF works fairly well. As you can see here at the end, there'll be some images, and the screen isn't too bad. It's a flippy screen, so I'm not fully articulating, but it runs on CF cards, and just a few pictures I took earlier, but it does a very solid job. I'll put these on at the end so you can see, but I was very happy with this camera. You get for around $200, so if you're just new to photography or you're wanting to get a gift for somebody, this would be outstanding camera for that. Being around $200 versus nowadays, if you were to buy like a lower end DSLRs, you're up there around $800 anyway. So would be fantastic for that. The other awesome thing about this is Sony. It uses their Alpha A mount. Alpha A mount was also used by Minolta cameras. So old Minolta film cameras that have autofocus, they'll have the same mount. So those lenses, like this one right here, are compatible on these Sony cameras. Nowadays, on the mirrorless cameras that Sony has, they'll use an E mount, which is a totally different mount. So just be aware of that. You're looking for Alpha A mount with this particular camera. So yeah, I'm selling this on my eBay store for $200 with 3 lenses. So that tells you the kind of deal you're getting. I'll put a link to my eBay store in the description below, so if you wanted to check it out. It's already got a ton of people watching it, so it might be sold by the time you look at it. Cool features this one has that you might not have on modern day DSLRs. It has a pretty cool, it does have this on some other cameras, but this is a teleconverter, so you see there, let's see, focus here. So yeah, you just hit this button right here, and you could go times 1.4 and times 2. So times 2, like if you're 55 millimeters, times 2, obviously it zooms it in kind of like it, so it's at 110 millimeters. So it's like a digital teleconverter, so you might take a little bit of a hit there with your image quality, but it's a nice feature to have if you need that little extra reach. Another cool feature that you don't find, that I hadn't had on any other cameras that I know of, is a cool feature called, let me get the name of it right, don't want to tell you the wrong thing. Oh, it's called, I didn't really care for it, but some people might like it. You see that iStart AF? So you could, as soon as you hold this camera, if I turned it on, as soon as you hold this camera up to your eye here, it would start to focus without you having to hold the shutter down halfway. It's a pretty cool feature. I didn't really care for it, but some people might care for it. This Sony actually is very comfortable in my hands. I was pleasantly surprised with that. The button layout, as you can see, is very nice. It has all the features you would expect on a DSLR, all the different scene modes, the manual program, and shutter and aperture priority. So as you can see, even though it's an older camera, it has basically most of the features you'll have in today. Anyway, here's some image samples straight out of camera JPEGs with a standard picture style coming straight off this camera, no editing. So If you have any questions, just leave a comment below and go ahead and subscribe. This is a great camera for $200. You should go ahead and pick it up. Thanks for watching.